House Bill 338, which is going to be the Recreational Marijuana Act. It did not take long for them to push the Recreational Marijuana Act. The medical use has not even been completely went into effect yet. We already have a House bill that has went up where they're trying to pass the personal use of it. This bill is also long and will be linked in the description, as all of my House bills are. I will give you the line numbers to check back on. As of right now, the bill is only proposed at this time and has not been voted on. Stay to the end of the video for my opinion on it. Lines 1 through 50, it's just the title, and I will save you some time and some boring information and just tell you that it's going to be called the Mississippi Marijuana Retail Act. Lines 51 through 86 break down that the reason for the House bill is to make it easier on law enforcement so we don't have to deal with the marijuana. People under 21 can use the marijuana. Tax similar to alcohol. To me, it seems that they might be playing into the whole police have more important things to do than worry about a little bit of weed, or weed don't hurt anyone. We've all heard people say it, post it on social media or whatever they want to do with it. The fact is most crimes related back to drugs in one form or another, whether or not that it is theft or violence, and that also includes marijuana. You'll be surprised at the amount of people that will steal just to pay for their weed, or steal the weed, or fight somebody over the weed. It happens all the time. Lines 87 to 152 is the definitions of the House bill, so please refer back to them. If you're going to read it, the House bill, it'll save you some time to let you better understand what the meaning of some of these words are. Line 153 through 176, just stating that you got to be 21 years or older. This is possessing, using, displaying, purchase, or transporting marijuana accessories or 1 ounce or less of marijuana would be legal under this bill. Possessing, growing, processing, or transporting no more than 6 marijuana plants, with 3 or fewer being mature flowering plants, and possession of the marijuana produced by the plants on the premises where the plants were grown, provided that the growing takes place in an enclosed locked space and not conducted openly or publicly, and is not made available for sale. Transfer of 1 ounce or less of marijuana to a person under 21 years of age. You can't transfer any amount to anybody under 21 years of age. Consumption of marijuana, provided that nothing in this section shall permit consumption that is conducted openly and publicly or in a manner that endangers others. Assisting another person who is 21 years or older in any of these acts described in this paragraph through the subsection. It's pretty much trying to decriminalize everything, and 1 ounce or less, and saying that paraphernalia will be legal. You'll be able to grow plants. Lines 177 to 227. Lawful operation of marijuana related facilities. It states that people over 21 can manufacture, possess, or purchase marijuana accessories and to sell marijuana accessories. It's going to be your paraphernalia now. If this law goes into effect and they change it, it'll be called marijuana accessories instead of paraphernalia. It's just the wording that goes along with it, and that's why I say your definitions are important. Possessing, displaying, or transporting marijuana or marijuana products, purchase of marijuana from a marijuana cultivation facility, purchase of marijuana or marijuana products from a marijuana product manufacturing facility, or sell of marijuana or marijuana products to the consumer. They're trying to make everything legal with this one. They're kind of vague with their wording, but pretty much they're trying to make everything legal. 1 ounce or less. You own a business, you can buy it and sell it. That's what they're trying to do. All right, to make this short, if you're over 21, you can pretty much do anything with marijuana and its accessories, also known as paraphernalia, with some limitations, of course, like fees, which we're about to go over. Lines 228 through 370 is the regulation of marijuana. If the bill passes, they are stating that the department shall adopt the regulations by July 1st, 2024. The regulations will mainly be the business dealings with the recreational marijuana. That also means adding a $5,000 licensing fee, and will adjust every year for inflation. Expect that $5,000 will be the cheapest that it will ever be, because we know that inflation, especially right now, is high, and it is going to continue to go up. It's just what inflation is. They will have to come up with qualifications for licensing, security requirements for the establishments, ways to prevent sales to people under 21, labeling requirements, health and safety regulations and standards, advertising restrictions, civil penalties for the failure to comply, user privacy protection. All right, no later than October the 1st, 2024, each locality shall enact ordinance to regulate, which means that local government, city or counties, may be able to step in and interfere with the recreational marijuana establishments and or businesses in the area. It's not that clear, which I will explain more at the end when I give my opinion on this House bill. All right, the Medical Marijuana Act states that local governments cannot stop or make an ordinance that goes against the act. Feel free to go back and watch that video. So a little extra detail. But this one, they're not really saying what they can and can't do at this point. But in the medical marijuana, they state that your local ordinance, your local government entities cannot actually stop it. All right, this section continues to explain what local governments may be able to do and what limitations they can set. This is only important to the people who are wanting to open a legit business. If that's you, then click the link in the description and print it off, read it word for word, because that's what you need to know. Lines 371 through 393. The section is employers, drivers, minors, and control of property. I mean, as I figured, this does not mean that an employer has to make accommodations for the use of marijuana. I think that has a lot to do with like OSHA laws and insurance company. We all know insurance companies pay a lot to protect themselves. With the use of marijuana, we already know it slows down your reactionary time. That's DUI deaths and everything of that nature. So your insurance company and their OSHA laws are going to fight everything they can to keep it out of the workplace. So keep that in mind. And we all know that marijuana stays in the system for X amount of days after you smoke it. So if you smoke 2 days, then before going to work, something happens, take a drug test, you may not have any protection there because it's still going to show up in your system, whether you smoked it 2 days ago or before you come to work. Still can't smoke or consume in any way and drive, which that should be obvious. DUIs. If it hasn't been clear by now, they restate that you cannot give it to somebody under 21, which under the Medical Marijuana Act, it can be given to people under 21 if their doctor allows it. We're going to wait for that to cut off. Lines 394 through 5,265. That's how many lines are in this House bill. This just restates everything in the state statute from as it would show up in the Mississippi law books. It has to be in the House bill because that's the way it will show up in the future as it passes and when the law comes out about the crime and the punishments if the law is broken. It also states that the testing of THC and labels and pretty much everything you can and can't do, or how they will be able to punish the business, or how they can legally operate, and what happens when the average person has more than they're legally allowed. All right, enough of that. On to my opinion. I think this is too soon and will not pass. That's my opinion. I don't think it's going to pass. I figured this House bill was coming, but I didn't realize that it was going to be this fast. I was thinking maybe 2 years after the medical marijuana made a profit for the state. That way they would be able to show that it's a growing business or growing tax revenue for the state. I could be wrong, but let's break it down. The House bill was written and presented before we even have product to sell for the Medical Marijuana Act that did pass. The state knows that the Medical Act is strict and is going to present a lot of problems at first. Not so much as a crime increase, but money problems, logistic problems, loopholes. They will have to fix. The state system to track everything is going to have to be fine-tuned, and the process goes along to keep the fraud down. Then the crime side of things. My opinion is that the DUI and DUI deaths will increase. People are going to push the limitations of this law like they currently do. I think work-related injuries and deaths will also increase. The theft of medical marijuana is going to happen just like we deal with the theft of prescription medication. Burglaries to all related businesses are going to happen, with that being your growers, cultivators, your transport units, the dispensaries. Somebody's going to try it. We're just expect it. I hope I'm wrong on the crime side of things, but it's what I deal with almost every day. I do see a way to fast track this program if it doesn't pass this time, and that would be to heavily tax it and to do away with income taxes. If you haven't watched my income tax reduction video, please do so. That statement will make more sense. We will revisit this act when it is voted upon and see if I was right or wrong, but I do want to know if you think it will pass or not and why. Let's see what everyone's opinion is on it. Keep in mind that this is the first version of what is called as introduced. It's a simple way of saying that it could be changed several times before it's either put into law or denied. They have that right. They can go through and change it after it's been discussed a few times or as it makes its way through the voting. As always, have a great day. Thank you for watching.